Hello, friends. Pastor Preston is my name. I'm so excited to come your way today. So, there's this story I remember today, and I wanted to share with you. So, when my son Gabriel was young, I remember then there was a child that showed up, and then he wanted to carry that child. So, I said to him, Gabriel, you can't carry that child. He said, No, Daddy, I can. I said, Then he says, This is baby. I said, You too, you are a baby. He said, No, I can't. So I gave him the child to carry, but I didn't leave the child outrightly. So while he was trying to carry the child, the both of them wanted to fall. And I laughed and I said, Now you see you cannot carry the child. And then he believed. A lot of time we really don't know the body we cannot bear. We always assume that we are fit for everything. That's why we think that they cheated us when they didn't give us the position, right? They robbed us when they didn't give it to us. But we fail to understand that the person who is doing it apparently is higher than us. He knows better. He knows the burden you can bear, the responsibility you can carry. But you think that they don't understand. You think that there's much more you can do, and then they are just, underrating you. Truth be told, there are few cases where you are being underrated, but in all sense of it, in a lot of cases, right, you are not being underrated because they know your capacity. So avoid to lobby for positions, avoid to, drag for space, avoid to compete or compare yourself with people. Just trust the people who are leading you. They know better, right? That way you'll be able to move, right, at the right timing. If you read the Bible and then you find that the people who God took out of Egypt, right, and then they all died at the wilderness, you may think that God is unfair. But one of the things that you fail to note is the fact that God knew that they lacked the capacity to live in the promised land how they ought to live, because the wilderness was the training place, right? The promised land was not a place for training in that light. So they lacked the capacity. It was only Caleb and Joshua who could change their mind. They were coming from Egypt, right? And then they kept the mindset of Egypt and slavery through the wilderness. God gave them a lot of time, ample time to change, but they were not willing to give up that mindset, and thus they could not inherit the land that God had promised to give them. One lesson: God could promise to give you something, but because you refuse to change, you may not be able to get that blessing. That's number one. Number two, it is important that you understand that at different level, there are different requirements. What is good for Egypt, right, may not be good for the promised land. So if you don't give up what you carried in Egypt, you most likely will not in the promised land. That's number two. Number three, kingship is not for slaves, it's for noble. In Ecclesiastes, he said, woe is that land whose king is a child. Woe, that means the land is cursed. That means nothing great will come out of the land. Whose king is a child. First Corinthians chapter number 13, verse number 11, the scripture said, when I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I understood like a child. When I became an adult, I put away childish things. Just the next chapter, 14:20, he said, as concerning understanding, be not children. So interestingly, right, people can know that you are a child from the way you talk, from the way you understand and reason, right? And thus may not bring you into certain leadership position, and you may just be getting angry and say, oh, it's my right, I deserve it. Or, you start saying that thing like, hey, me look on, right? It's my turn. But the truth is, do you really have what it is, right, to have it to be your turn? It's some questions that you need to ask. Okay. So for every level, there is more demands. There's more responsibility. You must need to move. Okay. So don't come up, to new level with slave mindset. You're going to ruin everything. Okay. It's not about the crown. It's about the capacity. I went to Computer Village and I was just in a shop. A young guy was the CEO of the shop, and I was just investigating him. I said I wanted to know if this guy was just using this shop to cover up, right, and really does not have anything upstairs. And while I watched them closely, I found the fact that this guy really deserved it, right? His wisdom, his composure, his proactive nature, his customer service, everything was on point. And when the others got stuck, he always knew how to fix it. I said, this guy grew through the rank. He was not just placed on top. You know that statement they say all the time? If you grow up, you will stay up. But if you jump up, you will fall down. Always seek to grow up. Learn at every level. Be quick to get involved, right? Learn from your mistakes and then continue to, advance yourself. And once you get better, right, you will naturally attract better. It is better that you attract better as against you lobbying for better. Let me tell you the truth. If you have it and the people around you have sense, they will always consider you. They cannot go for the lesser except they don't have sense. If you have it, right, they will consider you. So grow to having it, becoming what deserves the space and the office, and you will definitely be called upon, right? Be selected for the job because you have the capacity to do it. Can I say this? Do you know a city set on a hill cannot be hid? But you see, a fool set on the hill, right, will bring public disgrace, right? So when you are not yet in that stuff, right, stay in the valley, which will mean stay in the wilderness to work on yourself. But listen, don't stay there forever. You must be quick to work on you so you can move quickly. And because time is not just going to be waiting for you, right? You must be able to maximize the season and the time. Or of course, there's a certain age you get to where you may not be able to occupy certain office and space anymore. It's just like me trying to say I want to play football at this age, right? When at this age, right, many have retired even before my age. So I already missed that chance in my life. So you must work early, right, based on where you want to feature so you can have the sport to feature the same way, right? Listen, there's something called vessels of honor and vessels of dishonor. When you have impurities, when you don't align right and the rest of them, you are a vessel of dishonor. But when you purge yourself, as the scripture will say, when you purge yourself, when you take away a lot of stuff, when you place yourself in such a way that you are faithful, you deliver the same content, you are mature, then God can use you to serve, right, better responsibilities. Remember, it says the same thing that you find in me, commit to faithful men. Take note, Paul, all right, was talking to Timothy, who was faithful. So he says, faithful Timothy, commit to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. You say, why are they not committing to me to teach others? Question you need to ask yourself, are you faithful? Will you say the same thing? Are you available? Right? Do you have the capacity? Right? Do you have the initiative, the discretion? So don't lobby or ask for things that you lack capacity. If you truly desire those stuff, then you will need to meet up the requirement. Paul will say to Timothy, he says, those who desire the office of a bishop, he says they desire a good thing. However, they will need to meet up certain requirements to be able to earn that thing that they desire. So we can desire good things, but we must meet up the requirement. Otherwise, we'll bring disgrace when it's granted us. I hope this blessed you. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.